Hey everyone, it's Froggy, and today I'm back again with another episode of Dandelion, which is brought to you. This is Jisoo's route, and this is part 3. So the date for the next cutscene is going to be November 6th, so I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into it.
선배, 영어학원 가는 것도 이제 슬슬 지겹지 않아요?
I shrugged at Heejay's comment.
글쎄, 그냥 그래.
좋다는 학원으로 바꿔가면서 다닌 게 벌써 1년이 넘었는데 점수는 그대로고.
I looked at Heejay, who was sighing. Since when did I attend an English cram school? I know it was since middle school. Mom signed me up for a class, saying that what I'm learning in school isn't enough. There were many students of my age in the cram school. Since then, going to an English cram school became part of my life. On days that I didn't go, I would become oddly anxious and felt that I was beginning to lag behind others. And because it was not something I voluntarily wanted to do, I never felt that it was fun. Listening to the lectures in the English cram school would free me of my anxieties a bit. But I felt that I'm okay because I'm doing what everyone else is doing. And it feels good when I sometimes get a decent TOEIC score.
야, 너.
A familiar voice brought me back to reality. A tall guy was standing in front of me. Black hair, defined nose and mouth, and black beanie.
너, 지수야!
선배, 아는 사람이에요?
그럴 줄 알았어. 너 남자 없다며?
잠깐!
Why is Jisoo here? Jisoo and Heejay stared at each other without a word. Jisoo was scowling at Heejay with a fierce look. Heejay, who looked frightened, poked my arm with his finger.
선배, 저 사람 누구?
지수야! 너 여긴 어떻게 알고 왔어?
뒤따라왔지.
He's basically telling me that he was stalking me. I'm getting a headache.
계속 집에만 있으니까 답답해서 나왔는데 돌아다니다가 네가 여기 들어가는 게 보이길래 나올 때까지 기다렸다. 왜?
Then he waited for me for nearly 2 hours? 2 hours standing here? Glaring at people who were passing by? He's a pretty good-looking guy, but no girl would ever want to approach him since he's scowling at everyone who walks by.
선배.
Heejay called me in a feeble voice.
얘는 희재라고. 같이 학원에 다니는 학교 후배야.
그러시겠지.
Jisoo replied in a sarcastic voice. He crossed his arms and glowered at Heejay even more intensely. Heejay gulped and hid behind me. He doesn't have to be that scared.
지수, 너 왜 내 친구를 그렇게 노려보는 거야? 예의 없게.
I could hear a faint growl. Don't tell the whole world you're a cat.
대체 저놈 누구야? 왜 맨날 네 옷에서 저놈 냄새가 나는 거냐고?
I love that he's got like the little fang. It's pretty cute.
야? 무슨 말이에요 그게? 저는 아직 아무것도.
뭐? 야, 너 죽을래? 아직 뭐?
예?
지수야! 오해라니까, 오해!
오해? 저 빌딩 안에서 2시간 넘게 같이 있어놓고 오해?
I let out a big sigh. I was getting a little angry at Jisoo for coming here all of a sudden and scaring Heejay, who's done nothing wrong.
여긴 공부하는 곳이야, 바보 고양아!
고양아?
Heejay's word made me realize that I had made a mistake. Oh no, I shouldn't have said the word cat. And to make matters worse, Jisoo is snarling.
야!
Jisoo suddenly grabbed my wrist and pulled me towards him. Hey! I lost my balance and almost fell into Jisoo's arms.
집에 갈 거야. 빨리 와.
Jisoo's hand was burning and was covered in sweat. Why is his hand so hot? I awkwardly waved at Heejay while being dragged away by Jisoo.
미안해, 희재야. 먼저 가볼게.
선배.
I felt bad towards Heejay, but resisting Jisoo's hand would make the matters worse.
지수야, 일단 손 좀 놔줘. 응?
싫어. 저놈한테 갈 거잖아.
안 가, 바보야. 그냥 친구라니까.
그냥 친구인데 같은 빌딩에서 알콩달콩 사이좋게 이런짓 저런짓 하면서 나와?
그게 무슨 말이야? 그런 거 아니야.
채, 시침이 떼지 마. 일주일에 한두 번은 그 녀석 냄새 못 치고 집에 오는데 내가 모를 줄 알았어?
He won't listen to me. He won't explain why he's overreacting and why he's so angry. Why does Jisoo always interfere with my affairs? Why is he dragging me away right now? Why am I not resisting him? Why do I try so hard to let Jisoo know that it's all a misunderstanding? I don't really need to. It seems like I stopped walking.
너 대체 나한테 이러는 이유가 뭐야?
뭐?
날 기다리고 희재한테 질투하고 억지로 희재랑 날 떼어놓으려고 하고 네가 이러는 이유를 모르겠어.
That's because you're just proving once again that you're dense. You won't explain anything to me. I also don't understand why he thought that I was crying over a guy when I had a nightmare. Why? And why do I let Jisoo behave like this?
이유?
그래, 이유.
그런 거 꼭 일일이 말해야 돼?
I became really confused at Jisoo's reply. Does he have to? That's...
당연하잖아. 그런 거 말 안 해주면 헷갈린단 말이야.
I really don't know. I sometimes think, does he? And then often get embarrassed because I might have deluded myself into thinking about something that's not even a bit true. It's all because this cat won't explain anything to me. I'm confused because he won't say anything, yet he acts this way.
보면 모르겠냐?
확실하게 말을 안 하면 모른단 말이야.
I told him the honest truth.
말을 안 해주면 모른단 말이야, 나는.
I really have no idea. Especially when it comes to reading guys' minds.
너 귀엽네.
뭐?
My face suddenly became very hot.
박주인, 이래도 모르겠어?
그게...
Cute? Me? My heart began to pound.
모르겠어.
Why is he being so subtle?
놀리는 거야, 뭐야.
좋아해.
I thought my heart stopped for a while when I heard what Jisoo said. Did Jisoo just say that he... Did I hear him wrong? Did he really say that he likes me?
좋아한다고.
Jisoo said the same sentence again, as if he's trying to cast away all doubts. He really likes me. Jisoo likes me.
좋아하니까. 다른 남자 만나지 말라고. 내가 너 좋아하니까.
Our eyes met. I was too embarrassed to speak. I've never had anyone confess his feelings so straightforwardly before.
너는?
나?
I couldn't think of a way to respond right away. This is embarrassing. I realized for the first time how hard it is to convey my feelings. What should I say? I should say something.
대답 안 해도 돼.
어?
싫으면 좋아하게 만들면 되니까.
Jisoo grabbed my hand and started walking again. What? Why is he making conclusions to everything? And how come he's so confident? Make me like him. I should tell him. I have to tell him. Why I let him push me around, and why I let him do things that I normally wouldn't allow anyone else to do. That I don't mind him acting as he pleases because
나도.
I opened my mouth and Jisoo stopped.
뭐라고?
Jisoo looked at me in surprise.
나도.
It's embarrassing, but I have to tell him.
나도 좋아해.
Jesus' eyes widened. I said it. I told him that I like him. Jisoo looked bemused for a moment. Jisoo smiled warmly at me. This is my first time confessing to a guy. Jisoo began to walk without a word, holding my hand. Did he hear my confession? My face was so red that I didn't have the courage to look at Jisoo, who was walking in silence. I could feel the warmth of his hand, which seemed to heat up my entire body. And I'm gonna skip forward. And the next cutscene is starting now. It's November 24th. It's been raining since last night. It's the weekend, but I can't go anywhere because of the rain. The weather made me feel a bit gloomy. I don't like rainy days because the sky is gray and the weather becomes chilly. On a rainy day like this, I just want to sit down with a sketchbook and draw all day while drinking hot tea. I sat against the glass door leading to the balcony and opened my sketchbook. I could hear the thick drops of rain beating the window. Jisoo, who I had turned into a cat, slinked over to see what I was doing. Jihye and Jiyeon seemed to have gone shopping for groceries together, and Jiwoo went out somewhere by himself. Jiyeon has been taking a bath for a long time. I assume this is Jiyeon. He seemed to like the rubber duck that I bought him a while ago so much that he took a long time in the bath just to play with it. It's been a while since the house was this quiet. I picked up a pencil and started sketching. Jisoo and his cat self quietly sat next to me. Hot steam was coming from my cup of tea. I could concentrate well in this quiet and peaceful atmosphere. Drawing is a hobby of mine through which I relieve my stress. You draw lines and connect them together on a blank piece of paper to create something. The best thing about it is that if you make a mistake, you can always erase it and draw it again. I have no pressures of being graded either, as I would on an exam. And I'm given the freedom to draw whatever I want. I usually draw small animals like birds and squirrels. The reason why I draw these animals is probably because I envy their freedom. The animals fly and run just as their instincts tell them to. I sometimes draw a landscape, but I never draw people. Drawing green grass, mountains, trees, or flowers makes me feel relaxed. Today I'm drawing a small bird. A bird that's sitting on a windowsill, ready to fly. Right before he's about to take off into the blue sky.
밥주인,
I turned around to see who's calling me. Jisoo went back to being a human. I was too focused in drawing that I didn't realize he had changed. Jisoo was sitting down, looking at me.
너 그러면 그때 그놈하고 아무 사이도 아닌 거야?
After we confessed our feelings towards each other, I told Jisoo that there was nothing going on between me and Heejay. In fact, I told him several times.
그래, 아니라고 몇 번을 말해.
그럼 나 알고 싶은데.
뭐가?
그러니까
I stopped my hand and looked up to see Jisoo. His face was a bit red. Come to think of it, this is the first time that only the two of us are in the living room together.
너에 대해서
About me?
너에 대해서 좀 더 알고 싶어.
Not knowing how to react, I just looked at him. He wants to know me? For who I am?
나에 대해서 알고 싶다니. 나에 대해서 뭘?
예를 들면 어떤 생선을 좋아하는지, 어떤 영화를 좋아하는지, 앞으로 하고 싶은 건 뭔지, 왜 그렇게 항상 바쁜지, 그리고 어떤 타입의 고양이를 좋아하는지도.
Cute. Cat that I like?
나 생각해봤는데 너에 대해 아는 게 하나도 없더라고. 좋아하는 여자에 대해서 아무것도 모른다는 게 말이 돼?
Girl that he likes? I could feel myself blushing. How can I concentrate on the game when he says these things? Come to think of it, Jisoo was the first person to tell me that he wants to know me better. Instead of, I want to know you, I've heard, you have to do this and that even more.
너 그림 그리는 모습 말이야. 평소랑 되게 달라 보여.
평소랑 달라?
응. 여성스럽기도 하고 멋있기도 하고 생기 있어 보여.
I look alive? Jisoo continued.
처음에 널 봤을 때는 그냥 자기 관리 잘하는 여자로만 봤는데 자세히 보니까 그냥 쳇바퀴 도는 삶을 사는 것 같았어. 매일 학교 가고 학원 다니고 집에 와서 공부하고 그런 네 모습에서 열정은 하나도 느껴지지 않았는데 그래도 넌 열심히 하고 있었어. 이해가 잘 안 되더라고. 왜 저렇게 열심히 하는 건지. 재밌어 하는 것 같지도 않는데 왜.
I was surprised by Jisoo's correct observation. So that's how my life looks in the eyes of other people.
근데 그림 그릴 때는 달라. 그림 그릴 때는 뭔가 정말 즐거워서 하고 있는 것처럼 보여.
His statement touched me because it tells me that he's been watching me with interest. Drawing is one of the few things that I actually like to do. No one tells me what to draw. I get to decide for myself. I didn't tell him anything, and yet Jisoo figured out exactly what I like to do. I was a bit embarrassed and happy at the same time. I didn't know how to express these mixed feelings, and instead stared at the tip of the pencil I was holding.
그래서 생각해봤어. 너는 뭘 좋아하는 걸까? 너는 원래 어떤 사람일까? 왜 그렇게 좋아하지도 않는 일들을 열심히 하는 걸까? 정말로 좋아하는 일이 이렇게 있는데도 아직 나는 너에 대해 모르는 것 투성인 것 같아.
Jisoo scooted closer to me. He's close.
더 알려줘. 너에 대해서.
I felt Jisoo's soft hair brushing against my cheek. I could feel his breath on my left ear. I put my sketchbook down. I couldn't concentrate on drawing, but I couldn't bear to look at him. I cast a quick side glance at him and saw that he was grinning.
뭐 하는 거야, 너?
My heart is beginning to pound. What is he trying to do?
싫어? 싫지 않잖아. 내가 가까이 다가가는 거.
I don't know how to answer whenever he gives me these direct questions. My body became stiff out of nervousness.
너에 대해 더 알고 싶어.
I think my heart would skip a beat if he comes any closer. His face is getting closer. If he comes any closer, my body won't move. I can't move. I should turn away, but I don't want to. The moment felt long and magical. My mind became blank. I couldn't meet his eyes, and I could only stare at the tip of his nose approaching closer. I could hear my heart beating wildly.
누나, 욕실에는 샴푸 다 써.
I immediately jumped away from Jisoo, and I quickly hid my red cheeks behind my hands.
누나?
Did he just see that? What should I do? I peeked at Jisoo through my fingers. Jisoo had a disgruntled look on his face. He seemed to have no shame whatsoever. Instead, he was glowering at Jiyeon with a look that could kill.
누나, 왜 얼굴을 가리고 있어?
Can't you see that Jisoo is giving you a dirty look? I answered in a small voice without lowering my hands. Jiyeon walked over to me. I wasn't sure whether Jiyeon was unaware of Jisoo giving him a dirty look or purposefully ignoring him. I could smell the fruit shampoo from his hair.
오호.
Jiyeon places his hands on his hips and peered into my face. I don't know why I'm feeling so nervous when I didn't do anything wrong.
그렇구나.
너 머리에서 물 떨어진다.
뭐 양보해 줄게 누나. 애초부터 난 좋은 의도로 시작한 것도 아니고.
Surprised by his unusually cold voice, I lowered my hands from my face. Jiyeon had a forlorn look on his face.
역시 소망을 이루는 건 나랑은 거리가 먼 이야기야.
Wish? What wish? Jisoo stood up and put a hand on top of Jion's head. Huh? What's going on? Jisoo didn't look angry anymore. Instead, they seemed to be silently communicating with each other. What is it? What's going on?
저기,
I opened my mouth but didn't exactly know what to say. Jisoo let out a small sigh and walked toward the kitchen. There was an awkward moment between Jion and I. I think this is the first time that I ever felt awkward in front of Jion.
지연아, 너
딸기.
뭐?
딸기향 샴푸 사다 줘. 응? 응?
Jion is back to his normal self.
저기, 아까 한 말, 그게 무슨...
아참, 나 내일부터 자주 외출할 거야. 응, 외박도 할 거야. 많이.
Jion smiled brightly. He seems like his usual self, but it feels a bit different. Sleep out?
외박? 어디서 자려고?
걱정 마. 난 예쁜 고양이니까 사람들이 다 친절하게 대해주거든.
그런 문제가 아니라...
Sleep out with his cat ears? Something might happen that would put him in trouble.
누나,
Jion smiled.
누나는 앞으로 더 신경 쓸 일이 많이 있잖아. 그렇지?
Is he talking about Jisoo? Jion said with a nonchalant shrug, smiling. The same tone of voice, the same smile, but something's changed. I suddenly felt a wall between us. This isn't right.
지연아, 너...
As I tried to talk to him, he turned himself into a cat. Without any response, he jumped onto the sofa. Looking at him, curling up, closing his eyes, I felt as if I shouldn't say anything to him now. So I'm gonna end it here for today. Thank you for watching!